Novak Djokovic has one of the best two-handed backhands in the history of tennis. As solid as it gets, and yet in 2012, he spent an entire offseason learning the slice backhand from scratch because he knew without it, his game had a ceiling. Nadal did the same thing. Two guys who between them have won more Grand Slams than most players have functioning knees, and they still showed up to learn a new shot. But sure, keep telling yourself you don't need it. So change your mind and let's build it together. The slice backhand isn't a defensive shot. This is the mistake that keeps most players stuck, and it needs to be said before anything else, because most players pull it out when scrambling, when out of position, or when there's no other option. So use it defensively and you're handing the rally to your opponent. Use it offensively and you're the one setting the terms. Keep that in mind through everything that follows. The ball on a topspin shot spins forward. That's why it kicks up after the bounce. The slice does the exact opposite. Backspin. The ball stays low, skids through the court, and accelerates downward instead of up. Your opponent has to get underneath it, generate their own pace from nothing, and attack a ball that is actively fighting them. Basically, they use it as a white flag with a racket. That's the problem you're creating every single time you hit this shot well. Start with your grip, continental, like holding a hammer. Not white-knuckling it like it owes you money. Firm but relaxed. This is what keeps the racket face open through the swing and produces that backspin consistently. Without this grip, nothing else works, so get comfortable here before moving on. Now, after you have learned the grip, place a tennis ball on the strings. Walk around keeping the ball balanced on the face without it rolling off. Sounds simple. Try it for 30 seconds and feel how much wrist and forearm awareness it actually demands. This builds the muscle memory for keeping your racket face open through contact, which is the single most important technical element of a clean slice. Do this for 2 minutes every session before you hit a single ball. Now for the swing. Keep left hand on the throat of the racket, shoulders turned, racket head higher than the ball. If the ball is low, you bend your knees and lower your body so the racket still stays above it. Elbow a little bent, wrist relaxed, opposite arm stretched back to keep your shoulders lined up toward the target. That opposite arm matters. The moment it drops, your shoulders turn too early and the ball goes off target. The swing is high to low, not a dramatic chop. A controlled angled drive from above the ball downward through it. Cut down the ball first and then drive in the direction of your target in one single curved motion. Your forearm extends through contact, your wrist firms at impact, and you follow through forward, not downward. Now here's something I figured out the hard way. Early on, I used to watch my racket make contact with the ball, trying to guide every single shot. I had the focus of a surgeon and the results of someone who had just discovered what a racket was. What actually changed my slice was stopping doing that. I started reading the ball earlier, predicting where it was going to arrive, and setting up before it got there. The moment I stopped looking at my racket and trusted the preparation, the shot became consistent. You can't guide a slice into the court. You have to commit to it before the ball arrives. One detail most people completely miss. Let the ball position itself between your hips, slightly in front and to the side. Not too far forward. Too far in front, and there's no way to drive through it cleanly. The contact point feels late compared to a topspin backhand, and that's exactly right. Weight transfer is what separates a good slice from a floating liability. Move into the ball. Front foot angled at roughly 45 degrees to the net, knee bending forward. After the shot pass your back leg in front of your front leg, that crossover step redistributes your weight forward naturally and gets you recovering back into position immediately rather than standing watching where the ball went. To master this, stand 2 meters from a wall, feed the ball to yourself slightly above shoulder height, and slice it into the wall, focusing entirely on keeping the ball low on the rebound. If it comes back high, your racket face closed at contact, or you stop the follow-through early. If it comes back low and fast, the technique is working. 50 reps each session. This is how you build the feel before rally pressure takes over. 3 situations where you use this offensively. Breaking rhythm when your opponent thrives on steady pace. One well-timed slice disrupts their timing and produces a shorter ball you can attack. Changing direction when you're stuck in a cross-court backhand battle. Slice down the line, low and difficult to attack, recover, and let the ball come back to your forehand. Nadal does this constantly. And setting up your forehand by making your opponent generate their own pace on a ball that's fighting them. Berrettini built his entire game around exactly this. Slice, wait, forehand, simple, devastating. Put a cone at the down the line position and another cross court. Practice hitting your slice to each target on call. The moment you can consistently land it to a specific location under mild pressure is the moment it stops being a shot you know how to hit and becomes a weapon you actually use. 10 minutes twice a week and your slice becomes dangerous inside a month. Djokovic and Nadal decided this shot was worth building from scratch after reaching number 1. If it was worth their time, then it's worth yours now.